statements by members. Today we will hear statements by the honourable members for the district of Humber, Bay of Islands, Mount Pearl North, Harbour Grace, Portagrave, Ferryland and Bonavista. The honourable member for Humber, Bay of Islands.
Mr. Speaker, on July 29th, I had the honour of presenting the Newfoundland Labrador Bravery Award to Ralph Joyce of Lark Harbour in recognition of his heroic events in saving his friend, John Parsons. On February 7, 2019, Mr. Joyce and Mr. Parsons were walking on Bottle Cove Head Trail in Lark Harbour when Mr. Parsons slipped and began sliding down an icy embankment towards the ocean with about a 100-foot drop. Fortunately, his foot caught a small rock, which stopped him about 2 feet before the edge of the cliff. Realizing that it was too far to go get help, Mr. Joyce quickly responded, instructing Mr. Parsons to remain still while he searched for something he could use, and eventually found a dead tree nearby. Despite facing incredible, dangerous, icy conditions himself, Mr. Joyce managed to carefully extend the tree to Mr. Parsons and pull him to safety. As Mr. Joyce stated, I could have went on just as well as him. I didn't think about that at the time. The outcome of that day could have been much different, but due to Mr. Joyce's unselfish act, Mr. Parsons was able to return home safely to his family. I ask all members to join me in congratulating Mr. Joyce on receiving this well-deserved award.
The honourable member for Mount Pearl North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I honour one of Mount Pearl's most respected and valued citizens, Mr. Harvey Hodder. Mr. Hodder's first memories of Mount Pearl are visiting his future wife, Pearl, in 1962. He moved to Mount Pearl in 1963, where he and Pearl settled and raised their family. They still reside there today. Over the years, Mr. Hodder has put his heart and soul into the community of Mount Pearl. He began his career in the early 60s as a teacher at Mount Pearl Central High. As my former principal, I can assure you he is remembered as someone who genuinely cared and respected each and every student. He was elected 4 times as mayor. He served a total of 23 years on Mount Pearl City Council and was a driving force behind the creation of Mount Pearl Frosty Festival, now in its 38th year. Harvey served as MHA for Waterford Valley from 1993 to 2007 and spent 4 years as Speaker of this very House. To mention just a few of Harvey's accomplishments, he served 12 years on the St. John's Metropolitan Area Board, former Secretary of the Canadian Heart Foundation, former member of the Board of Regents of Memorial University, recipient of Canada 125 Medal in 1992. He's also an honorary member of the Royal Canadian Legion. I ask all those present to join me in wishing him well and honoring Mr. Harvey Hodder for his invaluable contribution to Mount Pearl.
The honourable member for Harbour Grace, Portagrave.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this year, 2020, has been deemed the stay-home year. I'm inviting everyone to make the excursion around the Bay to come and visit the Conception Bay Museum in Harbour Grace. Come for the summer lunchtime concerts in the park, the Haunted Harbour Grace hike, book lunches and guest lectures, tours of Peter Easton's Pirate Path, historic Gibbet Hill, and the many exhibits that display our rich local heritage. Folklore dictates that the earliest museum structure on site was Pirate Peter Easton's fortification, construction in spring of 1612. Later in the 1800s, the building served as the Customs House, a tuberculosis clinic, as well as an office for the Provincial Department of Social Services. The building was also the center of business and international trade for all Conception Bay ports. The Conception Bay Museum is a nonprofit organization guided by the committed and dedicated group of volunteers who continue to uphold high-quality professional standards. More than 3,000 people visited the site last year. The Conception Bay Museum social media profile has the second most Facebook likes, followings, and website visits, second only to the room's provincial archives. 2020 marks the 150th anniversary of the Customs House construction. I invite everyone to come and visit the Conception Bay Museum, and a special thank you to all volunteers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Fairland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, in this Honourable House, I would like to recognise all essential workers. The past several months have been a very trying and difficult time for everyone in society. I am honoured to have this opportunity to send out a big thank you to many of the essential workers who have worked so hard over the past few months and continues to work diligently to complete their duties safely and efficiently. The essential workers have done a great job ensuring that life's essential necessities and services are readily available to everyone during this pandemic. Each and every one of our essential workers have certainly helped ease the burden, relieve the stress, and work persistently to keep the rest of us safe since the start of the pandemic. Mr. Speaker, I ask all members in this House of Assembly to join me in congratulating all essential workers, especially ones of the Fairland District and this great province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Bonavista.
Mr. Speaker, Tom and Pearl Janes of Musgrave Town, Tom, a retired teacher, and Pearl, an accordion and guitar player, have entertained for decades at educational and social events. The Janes, married over 50 years ago, have contributed to their community just as long. Tom studied and played the infamous Ugly Stick and has made approximately 500 of these instruments. Tom is admirably referred to as the Ugly Stick Man. They have played at coffee shops, seniors' homes, summer programs, kitchen parties, screech-ins, sing-alongs, birthday parties, and other events. They always look forward to putting smiles on people's faces, especially seniors. Last year, Tom and Pearl worked with 28 students at Heritage Collegiate in Lethbridge making Ugly Sticks. Each student made a musical instrument, and they all played Eyes the Bye with Pearl leading the group. They taught exchange students from Owen Sound, Ontario, to construct their own Ugly Stick while visiting Anthony Padden Elementary. Tom serves as president of the Bloomfield Musgrave Town Lions Club, while Pearl serves as the club's secretary. Tom has served on municipal council, served as zone chair for Lions Club in District 4, served as district chair for the Dog Guides project. I ask this House to join me in congratulating and celebrating these consummate community volunteers, Tom and Pearl Janes of Musgrave Town.